What's up, friends and foes? What's up, friends and foes? Welcome to Let's Get Nerdy. My name is Corey.
I'm Wyatt. That's another episode of Go-Go-Godzilla, the series where we go through every movie in the Godzilla franchise to decide which one of them truly is king of them all. And today, movie title is a bit confusing.
It is
Godzilla versus Mothra. Godzilla and Mothra, the battle for Earth. Pick your poison, I guess.
That is right. No, I didn't like that. Ready, 3, 2, 1. That's right. Today we're going all the way back to, I believe, December of 1992.
Correct.
Was this the now third?
Fourth.
The fourth in the Heisei era, or the series versus series. I guess I don't really know where I'm going. We'll just kick it off right away with you got facts for us, Wyatt.
Oh god, then my cat is attacking my foot. I am so sorry. Yes. So five quick facts. We have a new director this time. The new director's name is Takeo. Oh god, I'm sorry.
Come on.
Okawara.
Yeah, Okawara.
Okay. Yeah. So new director this time around. The previous director, Kazuki Amari, he was the screenplay guy for this one though.
Which, to jump in with my facts,
yes.
I did see he very much purposely continued his using the influence of blockbusters. This is very much influenced by Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah,
and he has said as much of there are scenes almost very straight up lifted from Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
so.
And it's great. This was, as we kind of touched on, released December 12th of 1992. It had a runtime of 102 minutes, so staying very consistent with the last few movies. Budget of 1 billion yen and a box office of 3.77 billion. Oh my God, cat, stop. I'm so sorry. And it was released direct-to-video in the U.S. in '98.
Yes.
Under the title of Godzilla and Mothra: The Battle for Earth.
Yeah.
So
fun fact about the grossing part of it that I found. This is, for the year of 1993, was the second highest grossing film in Japan, usurped only by Jurassic Park.
Quite interesting.
Very well. I found that a little extra interesting because, excuse me, swallowing it. This series so far, oh my God, I'm so sorry. This series so far has been very much influenced by Steven Spielberg, so that the idea the only movie that beats it out is a Steven Spielberg movie, and probably the best one.
Yep.
Okay, and now, as always, we're going to give our initial thoughts and our history with the film. Wyatt, do you have any history with the 1992 Godzilla versus Mothra?
No, none, nada. Honestly, I didn't really know this movie existed. I had seen pictures of Batra, but I didn't know this was a movie until we were doing the series, and I was looking up what was next, and this one was on the list. So
yeah, that was that was one of my favorite parts because we just watched it together. One of my favorite parts of this viewing was you being Batra showing up and you not being quite knowing what was going on. Wait, hold on, what? Because Batra's sound effects are very reminiscent of Rodan's.
Yeah.
I think straight up might just be Rodan's.
I'm pretty sure it's just straight up.
And so you went, whoa, is that Rodan? And I was not at all. I didn't say anything, but I was no. But so my history with the movie is, this is one of, I mentioned with the King of Dora one, finding it on Crackle.com, the website streaming service thing back in 2010-ish. This is now 2 of the 3 Godzilla movies that I watched on Crackle.com. So this is my first time actually watching on a home video, which is funny because I've had it on DVD for probably over 10 years now. I just never, for some reason, went back to watch it. Initial thoughts, though, I regret having not watched it between now and whenever I watched it on Crackle TV, because it was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I really like this one. Do you have any first initial thoughts?
Initial thoughts. I think I was very pleasantly surprised with it. Not that I don't want to say that I thought it wasn't going to be good, but I wasn't necessarily that excited for it because I don't know. It just didn't really seem all that interesting. But yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised with it. It starts out pretty crazy and wild and
Yeah.
wacky and shit. Very much like you mentioned, very
Mhm.
much of the Indiana Jones inspiration,
Yeah.
which is great. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it didn't stick around too long, which was
No.
kind of nice. Like it had its wacky opening and a little bit of like some over the top. I don't know, like just kind of scenes and like
Hmm.
the acting. And this may just be because like the acting, I don't want to dive in on too much because I don't know if it's just like the English dubbing, those
Yeah.
actors just not being very good, or I don't know what to criticize there exactly. But
Yeah.
um, there was like some over the top scenes, like
Mhm.
when the guy's escaping the temple that's collapsing, and he's just like he's making the most
The,
exhausted, yeah,
yeah.
just constantly for like 5 minutes straight,
Yeah.
and then the jail scene. I don't know, it kind of cracked me
Yeah.
up. But I guess with that, it doesn't stick around. Oh my god, words are hard. It doesn't stick around too long. I mean, it kind of has its wacky opening, but then kind of calms way down and
Yeah.
goes into more of a traditional Godzilla movie,
Godzilla
which
movie.
which may be kind of silly to say isn't so wacky because some of them are.
Yeah,
But
and even in the traditional Godzilla sense,
yeah,
this movie gets pretty wacky.
yeah,
I largely have the same thoughts. Like I said, I did end up really liking this one. I like that the plot is a little bit more, I guess, romance motivated than your typical
yeah,
Godzilla movie.
yeah,
The romance is kind of again lifted straight from Indiana Jones, of
yeah,
lovers who have gone their separate ways because of the dude's selfish ways.
yeah,
But and then I thought the action was really awesome. I thought there
yeah,
were a lot of really cool introductions for the monsters. There is a lot of consistent like by the time the monsters first show up, you get consistent monster action throughout, and then like it's when you do cut to the scene, the human scenes, they're not taking away from the monster action. They're really usually kind of adding to the stakes,
yeah,
both emotionally and quite literally. Um, but
yeah. I mean, I think they actually complement each other quite well in
yeah,
this movie. I mean, it like you said, it doesn't take away from the monster like action. I mean, you don't have to wait 45 minutes to get some kind of a monster
yeah,
introduction, and it's not like 45 minutes to wait and then like 15 minutes and then 15 minutes and then 15 minutes and then like little small sections and monster scenes. Like it's pretty consistently like monster.
monster motivated is
Yeah, in some capacity they're either in the background or I don't know. They just balanced it
yeah,
quite well, I thought, in this one. So and honestly, like the human cast was fairly enjoyable.
yeah.
Like I don't there wasn't any of those characters in this movie that I got kind of bored or tired or annoyed of. Like they were.
Everybody was entertaining.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
saying they were like spectacular. Like they weren't minus one characters, but man, I
yeah,
I definitely enjoyed them. So
yeah,
I laughed at quite a few times. So
yeah. So with that, as we've kind of gotten to our initial thoughts, and I think have started delving into the more detail, we'll start kind of getting through the plot and stuff like that. So the rough plot to start is you are introduced to I guess jewel thief or like
he's a Tomb Raider.
whoa.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
No.
I'll see myself out now.
Actually, no. So the movie opens up with a meteor or a comet hitting the Earth,
Yeah,
and therefore waking up waking up literally every creature in the movie.
yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and then you get introduced to the main character who is, Tomb Raider, jewel thief. Like I don't know what you would like. Um, Not an archaeologist because
No,
he is not literally Indiana Jones, but
no,
you
he
know,
wasn't. He wasn't going after the artifacts to put them in a museum. I'm pretty sure
yeah,
he was just trying to sell
he was
them.
just trying to sell them.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he ends up getting caught, and it turns out uh, he is being recruited for an expedition to Infant Island, where you get Mothra's egg. You also get introduced to his ex-wife as part of the team recruiting him, um, which Yeah. What do you think of kind of, I guess, the opening of this?
I thought it was fun. I mean, the temple scene, I definitely was thinking like it was very Indiana Jones
Hmm.
esque before we even talked about it.
Yeah.
Um, you did have the like 5 minutes of him screaming and sighing and making very exhausted noises.
Yeah, like every time he used to like he had to crawl through things. Like it was like very like everything was a weird
It was
struggle.
like the most
Um,
labored sounds you had ever heard, and that particular part kind of got a little old, kind of quick, but it was only like 5 minutes, and then it was done.
yeah, but there was some like interesting like I guess entertaining moments of like as he was like running up the steps were like receding
Yeah,
into the ground and then,
yeah,
like so there like I said it felt more like an Indiana Jones stunt show like whenever you see them at like Universal
that's a good
or
way to
like the
put that.
Waterworld stunt show than the
Yeah,
actual movie.
yeah,
Or I don't know if you've ever seen they did a Indiana Jones like halftime show for the Super Bowl one year.
really.
Yeah, and it was terrible. It was I think it was an advertisement for like Disneyland or something like that,
Oh my.
and it was terrible. But this was more reminiscent of that than Raiders of the Lost Ark or Temple of Doom or anything like that. So,
Yeah.
but this is all to get to Infinite Island to find Mothra's egg. Do you have any thoughts? I'm like liking on the beginning of this movie.
Well, there was the he leaves the temple, they catch him, and then he's thrown in the jail cell, and then he like
Yeah.
refuses to help, very quickly refuses to help,
Yeah.
and he's like, I'll be out of here in a week anyway. It was only trespassing, and then she's like, actually, they changed your sentence to tampering with something, I don't know, archaeological related. You'll be out of here in about 15 years.
Yeah,
And then
he caves.
he caves immediately
Yeah,
as they're walking away, and his arm is out of the cell, like flailing, and he's
yeah,
screaming for them to come back. So
yeah, and then you do get so then you get introduced, I guess, to the crew going to the island. It's him, what was his wife's name? It was like I'm gonna get it wrong, so I'm not even gonna guess.
Don't remember.
And then you get the third guy who was like the company guy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It very much reminds me of if you've seen Big Lebowski. Like it's very reminiscent of Philip Seymour Hoffman, who just plays this ass kisser the whole time to the Mr. Lebowski. Very reminiscent of company man of like shows up to the expedition in a suit,
Yeah.
then goes hiking through like the woods and stuff like that in a suit that
Yeah.
just gets ruined immediately.
Yeah.
You do also get kind of some more like I guess
It went to like straight Temple of Doom at that point.
it did because you even get like they're going across the rope bridge
Yeah.
that like breaks halfway through
Right into the rock
which,
face.
the swinging to the rock face was hilarious because it was them all very clearly like standing, hanging on to something,
And then they just
then
like
the green screen like
Yeah.
or like the whatever the projector screen behind them like whooshing.
Yeah. It's great.
And then they're all like hanging off there. He was like, oh, like they eventually jump into the water below. All very clearly like top down shots of them just jumping into a pool.
Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of the like George Lopez opening,
Oh,
like
God.
the like jump in slow mo of like
Yeah.
But also honestly, this guy's a survival expert, right? He's a survival expert,
Supposedly.
like this like great like explorer, and he has them all three jump into waters that like could be rushing waters, by the way, with full on like rucksacks on.
Yeah.
I feel like survival rule number one. I don't even go camping. I know like throw the backpacks in first and then jump in, so you don't have anything dragging you down, right?
Well, I mean, I would think so, but then also, like, you made a point too when we were watching the movie. Like, why didn't they just cross the bridge one at a time instead of him
Yeah.
being some kind of a cocky asshole
Yeah.
and like jumping around on the bridge and like his foot falls through and it's a joke and haha funny, and then he's like making fun of the other two for being afraid.
And then he gets to dig at his ex-wife because he's like, "I think you weigh more than
Yeah!
height."
And then when they're hanging onto the bridge that's against the rock face, he tries to push her off, and like then she's pushing him, and then, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
But eventually, I think this does lead to them finding Mothra's egg.
Yeah.
And this eventually leads to them getting Mothra's egg on a boat
Somehow.
because like I guess they need to get the egg out of there so they can continue excavating because they're excavating Infant Island.
Well, and then the suit guy, his boss wants it as an attraction.
Yeah. Initially,
So,
that's what. Yeah, initially they were just going to get the egg out of the way and make a deal with the government or whatever. But then this is when Suit Guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make some money.
I'm gonna make minis."
Kind of going back to the.
It kind of felt like straight like this movie like made me think a lot of like Godzilla versus King Kong or King Kong versus Godzilla, how the orientation was of that title. But yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Because it was like, oh, here we are in a strange island, and we found this thing that we got to bring back to, bring in money or for whatever purpose. Oh shit!
And yes, this eventually, like, kind of going into the Godzilla versus King Kong vibes, we get them transporting Mothra's egg back to.
Oh no! Oh no!
All right, Teddy. I'll keep these. You keep that.
He's a thief, dude.
Yeah. You're just like the guy from this movie.
Yeah.
You know.
This morning I was trying to get ready, and he grabbed like a pair of my socks and tried to run away with them or run down the hallway while I was brushing my teeth.
That's just his way of trying to keep you here.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this is what we get. Them finally taking Mothra's egg back to Japan for his boss. And of course, the egg attracts Godzilla.
Yeah.
Somewhere in here, you do get the introduction of Batra. I forget exactly where.
It's after Godzilla started attacking Mothra, the egg.
Well, no, because you first get the glimpse of
Batra.
It's somewhere here you get the glimpse of both of them, Godzilla and Batra.
Yeah.
I forget exactly where, but Godzilla eventually shows up to attack this, Mothra's egg,
helpless egg. Yeah.
Yeah, and as they're like freaking out because Godzilla's showing up, the egg I think it must have been some kind of communication between Mothra and the twins in the thing.
I guess, yeah.
Because Mothra immediately breaks out of the egg, is ready for fight.
Yeah.
Kind of is ready to go.
Mothra is the bravest baby larva thing ever.
I've always noticed that. I feel like baby larva or larva Mothra is always ready for a fucking fight.
Every time.
Is wakes up and is all right, let's
just comes out swinging. Much different than tiny baby Godzilla that comes out of eggs.
Yeah, it's the opposite.
Disgusting.
But yeah, that shitty little wet baby. Yeah, but yeah, it's the opposite where shitty wet larva or Mothra comes out of the egg ready to fight. Shitty Godzilla, I don't even know what I'm fucking trying to say here. But we get our first actual fight.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool fight. It's only 30 minutes in.
Yeah, something like that maybe.
30 minutes in. It's a really good fight where, Mothra is having to kind of dodge around and dip, dodge, duck, and dive and dodge.
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about from Dodgeball?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
but Mothra is being crafty and hiding around the boat and shooting Godzilla with web, but Godzilla don't give a fuck.
No.
This Godzilla, I love this Godzilla.
He's so mean.
Even just coming out of the water just looks nasty as hell.
Hello.
Those are mine. Anyways, eventually, while this fight's going on, which is it's a really good fight for what it is.
It's fun.
Just a larva going around the water. I like the idea that usually they present the idea of Godzilla fighting in the water as oh, this is Godzilla's everybody else is fucked. Mothra going under the water and biting Godzilla's tail and stuff like that. I thought was really creative.
Yeah.
And then eventually we get the first appearance of Batra ready to fight. And Wyatt, because this was your first experience with Batra, what did you think of Batra?
I love Batra.
Mm-hmm.
definitely noticed like how much bigger Batra is in the larva stage than Mothra, which I mean, considerably so. Like he's even big compared to
Yeah,
Godzilla as a larva.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not
It's
saying he's like violently like towering over Godzilla, but like I mean, comparably so. Like he has weight compared to Godzilla at this stage
it.
and stuff. And
It weirdly made me think of, and I know you didn't play it too often, but like the old Soul Calibur games
oh yeah,
where
yeah,
there's this big demon dude called Nightmare. He was super badass. I'll show a picture of him here. Um, but had all these like had this like huge ridiculous armor and this like large, because everybody had a huge ass sword in Soul Calibur. That's the whole idea.
right.
But he had this huge fucking like meaty sword.
Hmm.
Not that's not like that though. It was
Wait a minute.
anybody who knows about Nightmare from Soul Calibur knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, yeah, Batra looks fucking awesome. It looks
He
like
does look
literally
awesome.
the devil, and I think it's presented as this idea of uh, somewhere in the beginning where it's like that Batra is like what the Earth releases when it's angry,
Yeah,
and like the Mothra twins, that's who says it. Like of like yeah, the Earth is a living creature too. It can be angry. Excuse me, suggesting that the Earth is lashing out at all like the oh my god pollution and the destruction of the like forests and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I also just liked how like aggressive Batra was, like out of the
Yeah,
gate immediately. Like, yeah, Mothra was ready to fight, but like Batra was just like barreling towards
Godzilla.
Godzilla and like kind of threw Mothra out of the way and like went right at Godzilla.
Yeah, and I yes, oh yeah, especially like literally like beelining and yeah, like literally throws Mothra
Yeah,
out of the way, which was an awesome moment. And, like I do, yeah, I thought that I had that same thought, like earlier, like later in the final ish fight of like just how naturally like Godzilla and Batra are, like their energies become rivals all automatically off the
yeah,
bat, which is like I just thought was really cool.
it is
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, and um, I mean, Batra has like the eye lasers, but then also the lasers that come out of like his like horn
mm-hmm.
thing, and they're different colors, which is cool. And I mentioned the colors because like Mothra has so many different colors, which is it's unique. And then but Batra also has so many different colors involved with him, and
Yeah,
they're just in very different patterns and very different like like night and day, yin and yang type.
yeah,
Which you mentioned, it's just cool. Like I just it made me weirdly appreciate Mothra more,
yeah. I could definitely see that. Yeah.
and I really like Batra.
Yeah, I thought
So
I'm like bummed we haven't seen more of Batra
yeah,
like going on. But I also kind of think it's special that there's just like this is the Batra movie.
yeah, that's true.
Um,
Yeah,
there's a balance to it. Um, eventually, we do also get a actual one-on-one fight with Godzilla versus Batra, which is awesome because it was like
so cool.
literally the second time ever we get an underwater fight in Godzilla, like a full-on. We see everything that happens. And yeah, it's an awesome fight between Godzilla and Batra because they're
Yeah,
like hitting each other with like the lightning bolts and the atomic breath. Um,
it just felt like a force of nature
yeah,
because like the whole screen is shaking and there's like the water's rolling around and there's bubbles going everywhere, which isn't that exciting, I guess. Bubbles, but then like they split, like they
literally, yeah,
cause like a volcano to erupt underwater,
yeah,
and it's just it's a very like chaotic force of nature type natural
yeah.
disaster fight.
And I thought they were actually about to go down a road that I was really interested in, like the idea of like these creatures battling is literally damaging the earth itself
Yeah,
because it's so like the magnitude of the
yeah,
they don't really bring it up too much later in the movie, but right here it is like literally splitting open and like they fight into the lava underneath the earth, and
yeah,
at that point everybody assumes that both Godzilla and Batra are taken out, and Mothra just kind of fucks off. Mothra like
yeah, literally.
literally like while Godzilla and Batra are fighting, Mothra is just like I'm done, I'm out, I gotta
Yeah,
leave.
I
Um,
got deuces.
and this is where Mr. Rich Guy or assistants to the Mr. Rich Guy concocts the genius plan because he's distraught that he lost his egg, his boss's
Yeah,
egg, and that he doesn't know he didn't want to go back empty-handed. So he figured that the Mothra twins would be a great attraction, which his boss quickly agrees of like they would be a great spokesmodel or what like using for advertisement and stuff like that.
Yeah, just like the 4 or 5 are the most like crummy dudes you
Yeah,
could.
very exploitative.
He's
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, we could absolutely use them for advertising and make money, and then everyone else in the room is like, I agree.
Yeah. Oh
Like
yeah, they're all just like, yep, yep, yep.
no like remorse about like, do they even want to do this? I mean, I will say though, like in that scene, they were very much. He was very much like, get them the nicest furniture from a
Yeah.
toy store.
Yeah.
So he had a nice thought, I guess, about
Yeah.
trying to furnish them and pay them well, but
Yeah. The one thing I did find a little ironic about it is, and I don't necessarily think that's what they were going for, but like um, reading up on the original Mothra twins from like the OG movies, I forget
mm,
the name of it, but they were like this set of performing twins that did do like
yeah.
advertisements and stuff like that. So I don't know if
Oh,
it was meant to be a commentary on that because
huh.
again I don't know enough about the real side of that situation or anything like
Yeah,
that. So, but it struck me as
that's
kind of
interesting.
funny.
Yeah.
But because of this and holding the twins active, this sets off Mothra on a kind of a war path of recovering them, which I really like this because we didn't mention it before. We did get Batra like on the way to Godzilla, like destroying a bunch of shit.
Did we?
Yeah, because there was like a whole rampage. Remember where he was like just like bowing through buildings and tanks and stuff like that, and they had all the like the because they had the miniature sets and stuff like that before it was even in the water. So we completely missed that.
I am
Um,
blanking on that right now.
well, because that's when like how like destructive he was. Because that's when we also saw like the first actual like clip of him.
I don't
Are you
remember this at all.
you were just
I
there?
know. I don't remember this at
It was
all.
because it was juxtaposed of like the juxtaposition of it was that um, Batra was going out of his way to destroy all these like man-made things and kill everything, and
Okay.
was like killing a bunch of like the military and shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like Mothra was, destroying things as she was trying to get to the twins, but it wasn't. It was in, you know, service of saving her people. Save like and
Yeah.
like she wasn't necessarily going out of her way to attack any one thing or destroy anything. Like it just was she was bowing through what was ever in her way.
Yeah. I'm back on track now.
Okay.
Sorry. Pardon my brain fart.
But a really cool scene of like the
Yeah.
military like trying to figure out what's going on. Mothra's still not necessarily attacking anything, but still causing damage
Yeah.
unintentionally.
Yeah.
Um,
Significantly.
yeah, yeah. Well, and this is where I did remark to you. Like, I like the juxtaposition, the idea that Mothra is there to protect life itself, whereas Batra is purely there to protect the Earth itself, or the one life of the Earth,
Yeah.
in an incredibly way more like destructive, angry, way. Whereas Mothra is, thank you, very peaceful and very I don't know kinder.
Oh yeah, definitely much kinder. And like I kind of wonder, like as Mothra was like barreling through all the buildings and shit, like if she even like understands that like there's people in those buildings, like so she because she's protecting life and stuff, but at the same time like probably killed a bunch of people.
Probably killed a lot of
And may
people.
not even have realized it.
Yeah.
I wonder. So
Yeah, and then you do get the kind of awesome moment of like as Mothra finds the twins and like the married couple or the divorced couple like presents the twins to Mothra like and
yeah,
Mothra's like stop you need to leave you need to go back to I guess Infant Island or wherever
yeah,
and that is when you get the military showing up with like and releasing hell on Mothra.
yeah.
Um, I guess yeah. Do you have any thoughts about?
Um, yeah. I mean, it was a pretty brief like salvo that they sent
Mhm.
that Mothra. And then it looked like Mothra was kind of fucked up, but I guess she wasn't. She was just getting ready to like begin
Metamorphize.
like that next stage of her life and stuff.
Yeah.
And posted up on the same building that King Kong like climbed up on and
Yeah.
like passed out on.
Yeah.
in that movie, and I don't remember our exact joke, but I think we made a joke about him like being a drunk guy
Oh yeah,
and passing out
yeah.
on that building and stuff. So that was kind of cool to see that building again. And then they had like
Mothra continuing the tradition of
Yeah.
drunkenly passing out on the building.
yeah, and then they had again like I don't know, just another thing that made me think of that movie was they had Mothra passing out, but then like there was a bunch of spotlights behind the building that all clicked on, like and kind of
Yeah.
a similar shot to that movie,
Yeah,
kind of reminiscent of that. So that was kind of neat too. But
yeah,
yeah, and I guess to kind of talk about Mothra emerging from her cocoon, it's very like long and drawn out, and there's the nice, beautiful song behind it and stuff, and it is cool, and you know you it's always nice to see Mothra, you know,
yes,
and stuff, and just makes you kind of happy, you know,
oh yeah,
and hopeful.
and it followed, but it does have the unfortunate task of following the coolest fucking moment in this movie.
Oh yeah,
So we have left out somewhere in here. We are reintroduced to the psychic from Godzilla versus Biollante, who she is tracking, kind of being used to track the thoughts and emotions of Mothra, and she's kind of providing some exposition. And as after like a while there, you start hearing about seismic activity and like volcanic activity at Mount Fuji itself. While there's like protests for trying to save like the Fuji forest and all that. As she's sitting there and taking in all the emotion and like looking at, she just has this moment of like, oh, Godzilla.
yeah,
Like, oh fuck, Godzilla's here. And I thought it could not get cooler than Godzilla opening up a volcano and walking out to his own theme song. But prove me fucking wrong, because Godzilla opening up Mount Fuji, which I know is a volcano. I think it is.
I think it's 4.
It's 4 volcanoes?
I don't know. That could be complete bullshit. I saw a YouTube short the other day, and someone was like, "It's not 1, but it's 4." They were hiking on it. I don't know if it's like 4 channels that go in. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
No, we'll figure it out. I'll have an answer somewhere in here. But lo and behold, Godzilla opens that motherfucker up.
Yeah.
And you get sparks, you get lightning, you get flame, you get lava popping up as the Godzilla theme song is just railing fucking on, dude. And it is I said it last time when Godzilla came out of a volcano.
Yeah.
But this is the coolest entrance possibly ever for Godzilla.
It's
like,
fucking awesome.
I don't want to say like for sure because I don't know what's coming. I guess.
Yeah.
I could because I forgot about this entirely. And I did have one thought, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Because like Gandalf and the Balrog, to me this means that Godzilla, the idea of Godzilla and what the fuck, Patrick? Who the fuck? I'm a mess this episode. I'm sorry. I'm sick right now. I'm trying to work through it. Willow's humping a cat. But who the fuck?
Stop. That's
Batra.
Weird. Yeah.
So,
Batra.
like, similar to the way that Godzilla, similar to the way Gandalf and Balrog fought through Hellfire and Brimstone, so did Godzilla and Batra in probably the most badass way that we couldn't see. But Wyatt, you know what makes Godzilla and Gandalf different?
What's that?
Gandalf had to be a little bitch and die and come back as Gandalf the White to return from that fight. Godzilla walked through that motherfucker and went, fuck you, I'm still the same. I'm the same motherfucker that I was. And it's so badass. You know, I love it. I can't tell you how much I love this moment.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, we were both like laughing.
We were
Oh yeah, yeah. We were making some goofy ass noises and screaming and like little. I don't know, just little excited kids, you know.
You can say we were little girls.
Well, I was thinking like kids, but I mean. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean.
this is very immediately followed up by the juxtaposition of, or like the beautiful moment of Mothra emerging
Yeah.
from her cocoon with the like kind of to, I guess, counteract Godzilla's theme song running by, and we both remarked that it's still okay. Taking a step back, because like they even did a fucking title screen for Godzilla in the entrance, because like there was like
Yeah.
these, because it cuts back to one of the like, because of course there's a military room where they're monitoring the situation,
Well, yeah,
like
of
there
course,
is in every one of these movies. And as they're doing this, the platform that they're watching from rotates to the screen, and then it shows the screen, and it like has like this digital silhouette of Godzilla, and it like rolls around the digital silhouette, and then just reveals Godzilla again
Yeah.
as he's walking towards the screen. And that's when I was like, yeah, this dude's Godzilla is way cooler than Gandalf ever was.
It's such a cool scene. That table, the table is really cool, but really stupid at the same time.
It serves no practical purpose.
It served no purpose because like the way they're seated, like all they did was make a circle. So whoever was sitting here is not like a half circle. I guess they're now over here. They didn't like gain anything. They just could have turned in their chairs and seen the same exact fucking thing. So like, what are they doing?
You asked me, it was worth it. I thought.
Oh, it was cool. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy about the spinning table. I don't understand it, but I'm happy about it.
Right.
Furthermore, I want one.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That-
Every living room needs one.
That's the new set.
Yeah.
We need a spinning table.
Yeah.
Why?
We'll try to make that happen, like.
All right, sweet. I love it.
And then yes, but then you get the like cutting back to Mothra. You get the beautiful chorus of voices as Mothra wakes up and like expands and kind of like is, I guess, getting ready to fight. At the same time, you get cut to like, and I don't know, like okay. I'm trying to catalog everything here, Wyatt, because I'm excited to talk about all this.
Yeah.
I think it's all really cool, but I don't know where like necessarily to start.
All right, here, tag out. I'll go for it. Yeah, beautiful drawn out Mothra scene, badass Godzilla scene. Cut straight to Batra hauling ass through the ocean, and then just like a bunch of lights and fireworks and shit, and then just like that, and he's changed.
Oh yeah.
There is no cocoon for Batra. He just decides to evolve like a Pokemon, and he's ready to go.
Yeah.
He's flying now.
It's just all anger, piss, and vinegar. I love it.
It really is, and he looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I love Batra.
Especially the final like it's just.
He looks like he would be on the cover of a metal album.
Yeah.
From like the 80s. He looks like a Power Ranger villain. Like from In Space, like when they fight the bug people, you know, he looks like a big one of those. He just looks badass.
He's the Psycho Ranger version of Mothra.
He is.
That's just occurred. That's crazy. Which, by the way, a total side note. I don't know if anybody is reading the comic books for. They have the Psycho Rangers they're doing a Godzilla versus Godzilla and like Power Rangers comic book right now.
Yeah.
And they have Psycho Rangers in that one.
That's so
fighting
cool.
The Power Rangers. It's really fucking cool. It's a crazy series right now.
I need to read those Power Ranger books, the IDW books or whatever they are.
They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I just read one of Power Rangers, and then the Samurai Rabbit from like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I think so.
But they have one with them. They have a crossover of that, which is pretty cool.
Hmm.
It doesn't matter. That's not Godzilla. Getting back to what the fuck we were talking about, I liked the intro of Batra because it's like literally just fucking we're here. I'm ready to motherfucking fight. It's very much like a, how do I say it? Like it's very Stone Cold of Batra.
Yeah.
Where The Rock has all the like,
that's
if you
true.
Smell, boom, boom, and that's that's the Godzilla coming out of Fuji.
It really is.
And then like Mothra's the Undertaker with the blue lighting and the slow reveal and all that.
Yeah.
And then you just get fucking Batra in his jean shorts and his 4-wheeler hauling ass after both of them. It's so fucking
Dude, that's the
awesome.
perfect analogy.
Yeah, Batra's the
That's
Stone
so
Cold
good.
of the Godzilla series.
That's so good.
Except for like whatever Godzilla is, so ignore that. But you also then do get this awesome kind of like initial fight of like Batra like borderline beeline towards Mothra, like,
Oh yeah.
and just starts kind of wrecking Mothra's shit. Of like Mothra fights back a little bit, but mostly is like trying to get away.
Yeah.
And like I remember at this point remarked that like um that you're like, oh, I've noticed like Mothra doesn't have any kind of like atomic breath or any kind of like projectile.
Yeah, no like
attack.
lasers or eye beams or anything.
Or a ranged attack.
Ranged attack, yeah. I mean, outside of like the webbing shit.
Yeah.
Go web.
And
But
and I thought that was but I thought that was a very interesting point that you made. And like, I thought that was like interesting that you pointed that out. And then like, how do I say this? Like, 2 minutes later, we get actual like the reveal that Mothra does have something, and I think there is actually something to read into there, and we'll get to that in a moment. Of like, Mothra spends a majority of the fight from Batra trying to get away, and meanwhile, like you do keep like it feels like 20 minutes of like cutbacks to Godzilla still like walking towards the fight, like
he's in
not
no
quite
hurry.
there yet. This is where the Godzilla felt more like the Undertaker because he took forever to get to the fucking fight.
Yeah.
But when he finally shows up, it's badass. When he finally shows up, it's not only is it badass, but like Mothra immediately jumps in and starts trying to fight Godzilla.
Yeah.
And this is where I kind of put together. I theorize that like I think Mothra understands that she and and Batra are like a yin and yang of like they, like they can't fight because Mothra is there to protect life and Batra is the last line of defense for Earth. Whereas like Godzilla, she's willing to fight Godzilla because Godzilla is just there to destroy.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about this series where Godzilla, like the other kind of like in the Millennium series and the Legendary series, especially like they like position as like Godzilla's just there purely to protect his home, protect Earth, and all that. And like they try to make him some form of like altruistic or good guy. Whereas in this series, no, like Godzilla is a fucking monster.
Yeah,
he is Godzilla is nasty in this series. And that's why that's why it's probably my favorite version of Godzilla because like as we kind of get into later movies, like technically he is on the good side of a fight between a monster like between him and Space Godzilla.
Yeah.
But purely because Space Godzilla keeps attacking him, not because he wants to protect Earth. And I like that consistency with this series, with this version of the series. Because, you get in this fight, you pretty quickly get a reveal that Mothra does, in fact, have a laser of her own to attack Godzilla with. And this is when we get the final fucking fight for this movie. Wyatt, what did you think about the final fight?
I really like it. Honestly, I mean, I like it a lot, and I like that, like, when we get the reveal of like Mothra's lasers and stuff after, Godzilla had kind of fucked up Batra a little bit, and then it was okay. She's going to defend Batra now, and then they kind of battled a little bit back and forth, and then Godzilla sent Mothra into the Ferris wheel, and as it was falling over, then Batra saved Mothra,
dude.
Which was a really good moment. Like, I was just expecting Mothra to get crushed.
Well, because you do get because like the you get a bit of one-on-one between Godzilla and Batra, and Godzilla gets the best of Batra because he's motherfucking Godzilla.
Yeah.
And like you see, like there's that moment of like Mothra, like I think the twins calling out that Mothra and Godzilla Mothra and Batra are communicating.
Yeah.
And that's the reveal of fucking because we thought Mothra was done. That they were just gonna have Mothra crushed by a Ferris wheel, which I think is fucked up. But then using the Ferris wheel, because that's the other thing. I noticed throughout the movie they kept focusing on the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
So and I didn't even think of like, oh, they have to like use that as a weapon.
It's like Chekhov's gun.
Yeah,
like it's there, so you have to use it. I mean, it's
Batra smacks the fuck out of Godzilla with it.
It's great, dude.
Yeah, you also get that awesome moment where like Batra initially like buries Godzilla in a bunch of rubble. Yeah. And then you just see a flash like an explosion of Godzilla shoot up and just start beating the shit out of Batra.
Yeah.
This is a really good final fight.
It's great. It's a great fight. And then after they knock him out with the Ferris wheel, I mean they're hitting him with all of their lasers and beams and whatever the fuck else they got. Mothra's like, what is that stuff that she like?
It's like
the gold dust stuff
it's like
or
gold
whatever.
dust. It's not like the rest of them, but it's like dust coming off. Like I think in other movies, it's kind of her like death throes. But they don't really make a point of saying that in this movie. I think it's just something that she just showers him with. Kind of like a golden shower type.
Oh my, that's intense.
What?
Golden shower.
Yeah. Like golden sparks of showering down.
Yeah.
I don't get what's the problem here.
It's not a problem if you're into that. I guess that's okay.
Into what? Explain it to me. Why? What is a golden shower?
Well, Corey, you see, when that is a golden shower, in essence.
I don't think I needed you to stand up to show me that one, Wyatt.
It's always better with a demonstration. I don't know what you want from me.
But
so anyway, there's Wonderwall.
I don't know what the fuck we were talking. Where were we?
The fight.
The fight. Yeah. Well, I know we were in the fight.
So they pick up Godzilla like a suitcase at this point, and fly away. Oh, okay. Let me back up. Before they pick him up like a suitcase, Batra lands on Godzilla after they've kind of knocked him out a little bit, and then Godzilla decides to start ripping at his throat with his, he starts.
Yeah, which I do want to say this, because now it's kind of all starting to come back to me. The way they do finally have Batra and Mothra on the same page working together was super fucking cool.
It was great.
Is this final fight, I want to say, is a great example, and this whole movie actually is a great example of Godzilla now being a fucking blockbuster movie.
Yeah.
Of just these huge moments of the build up to Batra and Mothra being on the same page, even though it was a bit quick, it was a bit I don't know about rush, but it was kind of all of a sudden boom. But I think that was just, I don't know. I thought the way that the way they finally started coordinating attacks, because you would have earlier in the fight, there was a moment Mothra was kind of hitting him with the golden shower, and I don't want to keep saying that. I was hitting him with the I don't know what to call it now, because that's also what it is. He's showering in gold, right? What else do we call it?
It's not I don't know. Pollen?
So yeah, he's getting showered with
I don't think it's pollen, but
a pollen-like material. And then you do get the glimpse of the same power that Godzilla had in the last one, where he emits an activity.
He emits an activity.
It's important to note that we have both worked full days today, and it's 9 o'clock.
It's almost 10.
It's almost 10 o'clock. That's good. Anyways, I just really like them working together, is what I'm trying to say.
Get past the golden shower thing.
What I'm trying to get at here is I love the actual build up in the moment of them finally working together after you get the brief moments of success of them one-on-one each with Godzilla, but Godzilla having some way of overpowering or kind of overpowering or figuring out how to go around it, or debuting a new power, the kind of the weird explosive blast he does from you know what I'm talking about,
his pulse
thing, his pulse, which I think is also a great way of building up to the Godzilla we see in a few movies from now.
That's true. Yeah.
But then to finally see them fully on the same page and coordinating their attacks and overwhelming Godzilla as he's trying to figure out how to unable to figure out how to actually fight both of them at the same time. I just thought was made for a really cool moment. It felt very kind of Rocky or anime-esque. And we talked about Batra being kind of a Power Ranger villain. It was a Power Ranger moment of
it was, yeah.
Tommy and Jason are finally on the same page.
Yeah.
It
was cool. it's cool that like in such like a short time frame of like an hour and 30 minutes or whatever, like we got that whole like I don't know, nice build up momentum, like excitement from like
Yeah.
them them working together.
Yeah.
Even though like we've never seen Batra before, like but it felt like that when you like
Yeah.
but I guess in that instance, like when you're talking about Tommy and Jason, like you've seen them like fighting for like a whole season or 2 seasons or whatever it
Yeah.
was, and then finally they work together. But this, like, they capture that in like an hour,
An hour, and
which
that wants to get that kind of goes back to the point I did want to make about, or that I was initially trying to make about um, Mothra's like refusal almost to attack
yeah,
Batra of like I think Mothra having to understand that they are a yin and yang, that even though Batra is like built, it was almost like kind of as they describe like born out of anger, and the anger of the earth, like the balance of the earth being like restored, is kind of a line they use in the Legendary series and all that.
yeah,
I thought kind of really lent into that of like this leans into that now that they are understanding who like how they can work together. I don't
yeah.
know. Maybe we're reading too much into it. It is,
It was cool though.
yeah. I thought it was really cool, and it leads to the kind of final like wrap up
Yeah,
of the fight of like they finally get Godzilla quite literally on his back.
yeah.
Uh, Batra like lays atop him, trying to I don't know like
It was
pick
like
him up.
I think he was like trying to pick him up, but also like it looked like he was shocking him through his feet
Yeah,
in a way too, So
yeah.
maybe.
But Godzilla till the motherfucking end keep fighting, and he bit that motherfucker.
He was not having that shit.
Yeah, this is the '90s where Godzilla and Mike Tyson will bite a motherfucker
Yeah,
to get out of a bear hug.
yeah, and
Uh,
he did.
he quite literally did. But
He had green Batra blood
oh
all
yeah,
over his face and stuff.
Batra like quite. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I mean, like you said, uh, surprisingly brutal. That phrase keeps coming back
keeps
throughout
coming
this
back.
series. So it was. I wasn't expecting like him to be ripping into his neck and stuff. Godzilla to be ripping into Batra's neck
Yeah,
and really going for it. So, but he did. But also to Batra's credit, he didn't really quit. He didn't quit at all. He just kept like staying consistent until Mothra got her shit together and figured out what was going on.
yeah. That was kind of a really cool moment. Kind of like a like you can read it as like a little bit of a heartless moment on Mothra's end, but like I don't know. So see what happened was as they were flying, like they were pretty much beating Godzilla the same way that Godzilla was beat in the last movie, Godzilla vs King Ghidorah, where they flew him out to the ocean to just drop him there. But while this was happening, Godzilla just like was continually attacking Batra, and then just point blank atomic breath to the head.
Yeah.
And I think that's when Mothra did some math there and went, well,
I can't carry both of these
yeah,
motherfuckers.
two of us ain't getting out of here, so one of us better leave.
Yeah.
And drop that motherfucker in the ocean.
Not cool, Mothra.
But then did like a weird little seal thing to
Yeah,
keep
she
him there.
played like her Yu-Gi-Oh trap card and like locked them in
Yeah.
wherever they were at, or did so, I don't know what the hell she did. I didn't know Mothra was a sorceress or a magician, but apparently she is. So
Keep going.
no, I don't know. It was neat though. It was cool. Like there was like a gold shiny circle in the sky at that point.
Yeah.
And then it like went down, into the ocean or whatever, and followed Batra and Godzilla. I don't know if it was like to pull Batra's like life force out, or if it was to lock or to attempt to lock Godzilla in that
Yeah,
area.
there's very much no explanation of what that was.
Yeah, it was it was a little bit ambiguous as to what that was meant to be. Um, but and yeah, I don't know, but it was cool. It was cool. But it was very much like how they beat Godzilla in the last movie. But
Yeah.
it wasn't bad. I mean, I thought both scenes and in the King Ghidorah and in this movie, they both had their own unique drama to them, and
Yeah.
I didn't see this scene in this movie and kind of sigh, out of like, oh man, they're doing this again. it didn't feel like that. It felt like a fresh or a second. I don't know.
It made sense
It
for
made sense.
what
Yeah,
was yeah
it
what was
worked.
the yeah it worked for what was presented and all that. And then it is kind of revealed here, I think, by the twins that um, somehow they knew of like a comet that's going to be hitting or an asteroid that will hit Earth
Yeah,
by 1999, and like Batra was meant to be the one to stop it.
yeah,
Um, and then I guess they were like, but Mothra is going to take over that responsibility. And so then Mothra just nopes out into space. Uh,
yeah, yeah.
and
It
us.
was. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Was very much like, oh yeah, Thatcher was gonna do that, but he's dead now. And then the people were like, can Mothra do it? And then they was like, the twins were just kind of like, yeah, I guess.
yeah. It kind of made me think. Did you ever see the movie? This sound weird. The movie Sex Drive.
No.
Well, there's a scene where like Seth Green plays like an Amish guy, and they end up fixing this dude's car. And he's like, "You guys just gonna do that for free?" He's like, "Yeah, because we're that fucking nice." And he's like, looking at him like, "Man, fuck you." It's kind of the same way of like, "Yeah, Martha's just that so it's just so fucking nice. We're gonna she's gonna just do it for you guys."
Yeah, she's just gonna take care of it.
But presumably, I believe the asteroid. We will see that asteroid eventually in some shape or form. I believe it's the same asteroid. But we'll see that in a few movies. That's later.
Dun dun dun.
Uh,
Foreshadowing.
but for now, we'll go ahead and move into kind of our wrap up thoughts. Wyatt, do you have any final thoughts of like anything that we didn't necessarily shout out or talk enough about, in your opinion?
um, I don't know. I feel like we did a pretty good job of covering stuff in this movie, but I do want to kind of reiterate the special effects in this movie. I thought the suit was great. The suit looked awesome. The animatronics to the suit looked really good. The set pieces, the miniatures, so on and so forth. That stuff all looked really good. The cities looked good. Um, there was some scenes like it kind of made me think of the '54 Godzilla, where it was
Yeah,
like kind of it was shot up at an angle to kind of give the scale of Godzilla, and it was like it was backlit in like red or orange or whatever, and Godzilla was kind of shadowy or whatnot, so it just had that kind of like ominous, scary feel to it in a way, and that was cool. There were some pretty good shots in this movie, and like in one where it was the human cast on the rooftop, and in the distance you could see Mothra and Batra flying back and forth. Godzilla's atomic breath,
yeah,
launching at or after them or at them, I guess, rather not after, but anyway. Um, that was a unique shot because you couldn't see Godzilla, but you could see the fight still happening. It didn't pull you out of the fight to go have some dialogue with the people. So I like that. I mean, I just thought like the whole movie had a nice balance to it as far as like the human plot
mm-hmm.
and the monster action. The kind of campiness of it,
Mm-hmm.
didn't stay too long from the beginning of the movie, but it was fun.
Yeah.
It just didn't overstay its welcome, which was nice. Excuse me, sir. Pardon me. Get out of here. Go on. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Uh,
Um,
look, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off,
no, you're
but
fine. That was pretty much where I was going to
okay.
wrap that up. So
Well, and so yeah, I guess for some of my final thoughts on it is kind of reiterating what you said. Like, I love the presentation of it, like the sets and the miniatures in its own. I thought were really, really cool. The visuals, like I love some of the close-ups of the Godzilla suit being a little bit more animated. I think yeah, a little bit more animatronic based too, in the way of like you get to see some actual like Godzilla's facial reactions in a
hmm
way that we just haven't seen even in like recently as of King Ghidorah. Like, and this just goes to show that like what I like about this Godzilla, like kind of what you mentioned, this one is such a really good um like middle ground where I do believe some of these movies can take themselves like a bit too seriously.
yeah, yeah,
Overall, like um to compare this one to King Ghidorah last week, I felt that one sometimes like just was taking it like I don't know, like a little too seriously. There wasn't like it wasn't just the human plot didn't feel as fun. Like the human plot here, I think really was in service of the monster action and the world around it. Like it never felt like it was away from it. But like I kind of mentioned earlier, there's a lot more of a romance base that you don't usually see in Godzilla. And I think so far, outside of like -1, it's kind of the best romance based Godzilla plot.
Yeah, I think
Like
so.
it's just in a high bar. Um,
No, but it's still. I think it's noteworthy though.
uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but then like just the actual like blockbusteriness of the actual fights themselves
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
just awesome. Just it all really came together and like I know it feels like a really good fucking movie, and I really like this movie.
Yeah. It was.
Um,
It was great.
I think I don't know if I've mentioned it in the video already, but like it occurred to me of like when we were kids, maybe I don't know about you, but uh, like I almost didn't really like the more Mothra based movies. Like I think I just like little boy brain of like, this is just a butterfly. Who really cares? But like through these rewatches, I'm almost finding like the older I get, the more Mothra heavy Godzilla movies are some of my favorites. The ones that like I like. Oh, I'm going to come back to this quite a bit, and I think that's reflected in kind of our current ranking.
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. And yeah, I would definitely say the same thing. Like I think I always liked Mothra. I've always liked Mothra, and when I was younger, I mean, but like doing these rewatches and stuff, it's definitely in this movie more so than uh, the last few, I guess. That was a terrible phrase. I'm sorry. Uh, yeah, this movie has made me really appreciate Mothra quite a bit
Yeah,
more. But also like and I know I've kind of touched on this already, but like it was kind of cool that like there was a new Godzilla character, like a new character that's fighting against Godzilla, and
oh
like
yeah.
we weren't so much like rooting against Godzilla, but it's like I don't want to see Batra lose, and I don't know what it is exactly. Like I can't pinpoint what I like about Batra so much, but I just really like Batra, and I'm sad that we haven't seen more Batra up to this point, and I hope in some capacity that like
We see, yeah.
that he might come back some
Yeah.
way somehow. Dude, what are you doing?
I very much agree. I very much agree. If like I do hope we see more of Batra. And like one thing I want to give a shout is I love uh, the presentation of how like the presentation of all three of these compared to each other of like um primarily Godzilla to Mothra of Mothra being given these like chorus beautiful like songs that
Oh
like we've
yeah.
heard in the previous movies, but like no, I don't think to such a nth degree
Oh
as
yeah.
we do in
Yeah.
this one. And then with Godzilla getting like literally every time he's on the screen marching forward, you get his full on theme song, which we both remarked we still think is probably it's my favorite piece of like soundtrack
Oh
song
yeah, mine
music
too. Yeah.
in movies. Period.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I love the Star Wars theme. I love
yeah.
Lord of the Rings music. I mean, I love like Halo's music. I mean, all that stuff is fantastic. But like this is like the theme of the
There,
song that consistently gets me like giddy and excited and like I don't know. I would fight somebody for Godzilla. I
yeah, I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree.
it's
But with that, I think that's kind of both of our final thoughts. I don't really know if there's anything too much we want to expound upon um,
I don't think
at
so.
this point. So we're going to get to the point of this video where we see how Godzilla versus Mothra Battle for Earth stacks up to the other movies. If somebody will let us read the fucking list.
He's
So
being quite
yeah, he looks
obnoxious
mad.
tonight. Well, there's one bowl that's empty and one bowl's full, so I would imagine he's throwing a fit because not both bowls are full.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
wow. Anyways,
Good.
yeah, so the ranking is currently sitting at number 23, Godzilla Raids Again. At number 22, we have Godzilla's Revenge. At number 21, we have Son of Godzilla. At number 20, we have Return of Godzilla from the 1984. At number 19, we have Terror of Mechagodzilla. At number 18, we have Godzilla versus Megalon. At number 17, we have Godzilla versus the Smog Monster. At number 16, we have Invasion of the Astro Monster. At number 15, we have King Kong versus Godzilla from 1962. At number 14, we have Godzilla versus Kong from 2021. At number 13, we have Godzilla 2014. And at number 12, we have Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from 1991. At number 11, we have Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. At number 10, we have Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. At number 9, we have Destroy All Monsters. At number 8, we have Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. At number 7, we still have Godzilla versus Gigan. At number 6, we have Godzilla versus Biollante. At number 5, we have GXK, the New Empire. At number 4, we have Godzilla 1954, the original. At number 3, we have Godzilla versus Mothra from 1962. At number 2, we have Godzilla King of the Monsters from 2019. And at number 1, we still have Godzilla minus one. With that, why I think I know where I want this to um, rank, and to give a little bit of a spoiler for my ranking. Um, it's going to shake up the top 5 for the first time in about 20 videos because I don't know if you guys are aware or if we've commented on it enough, but the most recent movie to go into the top 5 that we've covered is Godzilla versus Mothra, which that was about, like I said, a little over 20 videos ago.
Yeah,
so
that's been a while ago.
That's been a while. So again, for me, it's gonna break up the mix up whatever the fuck I'm trying to say. What about you, Wyatt?
Mix up, shake up, all those words. Yeah, mine's going to do the same thing, actually, surprisingly. Which was crazy because I was thinking this while we were watching it there at the tail end of it. I kind of had an idea of where I wanted it to go. So,
okay. Well, then, I guess let's. Do you just want to reveal together on 3?
On
All
3.
Right. 1, 2, 3. Number 5.
Damn. God damn.
Which is
We actually agreed.
Yeah, this is like the first or second time we've ever agreed on this list.
Yeah, first or second's probably accurate.
I think this might be the first time agreeing since the original Godzilla versus Mothra.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's an exception that we could find somewhere in there, but
possibly, maybe.
I know we agreed on number 8 right now, but
no, I don't. Did we? I don't think
no,
we did.
did not.
Yeah, definitely didn't agree that. I mean, number 11. That's a bunch of shit. But
anyways, but none of that matters because this is the official definitive list to end all lists. So
you heard it here first.
Yes, that's right. With that, the list now stands. And now, after much technical difficulty and delay, the final list for today is sitting at number 24. We have Godzilla Raids Again. At number 3, we have Godzilla's Revenge. At number 21, we have Son of Godzilla. We've mentioned the top 5 having not changed after so long, or like how solid the top 5 is. Those, I don't think those bottom 3 are changing.
No, I don't either. Not at all.
At number 21, we now have Return of Godzilla. At number 20, we have Terror of Mechagodzilla. At number 19, sorry. Oh my god, this is all falling off the rails. At number 19, we have Godzilla vs. Megalon. At number 18, we have Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. At number 17, at number 18, at number 17, we have Invasion of the Astro Monster. At number 16, we have King Kong versus Godzilla from 1962. At number 15, we have Godzilla versus Kong from 2021. At number 14, we now have Godzilla 14. Come on, you're not even paying attention.
I was petting the cat.
At number 13, we have Godzilla versus King Ghidorah from 1991. At number 12, we now have Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. At number 11, we now have Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. At number 10, we have Destroy All Monsters. And at number 9, we have Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla from the 70s. At number 8, we have Godzilla versus Megalon. No, Godzilla versus Gigan. Weird. At number 7, we have Godzilla versus Biollante. I'm sorry to be boring you, Wyatt. At number
I'll
6,
forgive you.
We now have Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. Now at number 5, taking its place, we have Godzilla versus Mothra, the Battle of Earth, or Battle for Earth, Battling the Earth.
I think Battling the Earth.
Yeah,
that's pretty iconic. Yeah.
At number 4, we still have I almost fucking made it. The original 1954 Godzilla. At number 3, we have Godzilla versus Mothra from 62. At number 2, we have Godzilla King of the Monster from 2019. And at number 1, we still have Godzilla -1. Yeah, that's the current ranking. Um, Real quick, I do want to shout out, or I don't know if you kind of wanted to bring it up, Wyatt. Somebody did ask us to do a reaction to like the Terror of Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
So if you do want us to do a live reaction, we're probably not going to do Terror of Mechagodzilla since we've technically already covered it, and honestly, we didn't like it enough that I don't know if we want to watch it again. If you do want us to do a live reaction to something, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And we will do our best to facilitate that.
Yeah, and thank you for commenting. That's really cool, and we appreciate that. I hope you guys keep commenting and stuff.
Please.
I am curious. Did you want to watch us like shit on the movie, or like why did you want us to do a live?
I hope you're still watching along to answer that question.
I'm genuinely curious. Like it just seemed like a funny movie, or to pick for that question.
But with that, if it's reactions you want to see, I did just post a reaction to the new Superman trailer, so it's not Godzilla related, but there's plenty of kaiju action in that trailer to be had. So if you want to check that out, I'm sure it'll be linked somewhere on the screen at some point in this video. And
go check it out.
Yeah, and Wyatt's got does have an action figure video, or a video he's working on himself based on. You talked about it. It's your video.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do like, don't die.
I'm sick. Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna do some like mild action figure reviewing. We're gonna use loosely. Don't die over there. Because I don't know if I can afford to be one of the highfalutin current action figure reviewers, because that shit's expensive. But I might do some new reviews, kind of take a look back at some old stuff. Just talk about comics, kind of talk about figures, maybe do some display videos, that kind of stuff. So, what are you doing?
He wants to make a doink.
No. No.
If that's your Dan action figures doinking, watching Superman trailers, checking out Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
Please like, subscribe, keep commenting, keep following along. Until we get back. I think the next movie we got on the docket is Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2. So please follow along for that. Until then, I've been Corey.
I'm Wyatt.
And we got to get back to nerding out.
Thank you guys. How do you turn this thing off?